You know what I like to do?
Talk into a microphone?
Yeah, and also get in on the action with sports
Have a big
interaction.
head.
Yeah. Wear bare feet in the freezing cold.
Be a dad.
Friggin' wear V-necks that are actually
It's not a
crew-necks.
V-neck, okay?
Sorry.
Sports interaction. NHL, NBA, MLB, so much more. It's the friend I don't have, clearly. Crazy Odds, best live and play. Download the app in Ontario. You can use the QR code at the bottom of the screen, or you can head to sportsinteraction.com/STPN to get started. 19 plus. Please play responsibly and get better friends.
Yell at the computer. He does that too.
Elliot Friedman on 32 Thoughts this morning. I think if Austin Matthews is going to sign in Toronto, it'll be 4 or 5 years. And I think the Maple Leafs know that if they're going to do that, he's probably going to be the highest paid player in the league. But I think they're willing to do it.
Jesus.
He also believes that Dubas is going to stay and that they committed to keeping him after round 1 win against Tampa. Now, I want to ask you a question because there's been a take. And I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but I really wanted to get both of your opinions on this one. It's Craig Button from TSN. And Craig is industry-wide known as one of the nicest human beings in the world. And his takes are for some and not for others. And I always feel bad, too, because they'll pull like Craig Button out of like 2017 saying something and then apply it to today. I'm like, that's not fair. It's not fair to Craigie. But Craig Button said this. The Leafs losing was an epic failure. And then in a separate conversation, he said the Oilers worked really hard and have something to build on. How do you compare and contrast the last 2 Canadian teams in the playoffs? Because a lot of Leaf fans this morning are kind of ticked at that, saying, hey, wait a second. They also lost in the second round. And we lost in the second round. How come we're a failure and they're not?
I'm a little ticked at Leaf fans for being ticked about that.
Tell me.
What do you mean you don't understand? They made it to the Final Four last year. What do you mean you don't understand? Edmonton was one of 4 teams remaining for the Stanley Cup last year. And yeah, they got swept by the team who eventually won the cup. And they beat the team who beat you en route. What do you mean you don't understand? The Oilers have a much longer track record. How many series has Connor McDavid won? I know there's been a bunch of times where the Oilers have flubbed it.
They've missed the playoffs a couple times.
Missed the playoffs, choked in the playoffs. In 2017, they went to the second round, got fucked again.
Had no goaltending the next year, didn't make the playoffs.
Exactly.
And then he got fucked for the Hart Trophy, even though he absolutely deserved it. The Taylor Hall Hart year is McDavid's.
You guys want me to do it?
Sure.
We got to hear. 2016-17.
Cam Talbot.
They went to the second round. They beat the Sharks in the first round. They went to the second round. They lost in 7 to the Anaheim Ducks.
Sorry. Oh, they beat. Sorry. I'm slow. You go. My bad.
17-18 did not qualify for the playoffs.
Okay.
18-19 did not qualify for the playoffs.
Okay.
19-20 lost in the qualifying round to the Chicago Blackhawks.
Okay.
2020-2021 lost in the first round to the Winnipeg Jets.
Okay.
21
Got fucked there too.
21-22 they go to the conference finals. They beat the Kings, Flames. They lose to the Avalanche along the way. 2022-23 they beat the Kings and then lose to the Golden Knights.
4 series wins. 4 series wins, which is, given the pool of talent, a complete failure.
Yep.
And it's 4 times as many series wins as the Leafs. What do you mean? What do you mean? How don't you understand that the Oilers have come so much closer to their goal than the Leafs have?
They're both failures, but in different ways.
Yeah, I agree with that. But, you look at last year and this year, combine them for the Leafs and the Oilers. It's not close. It's not close to close. The Oilers have come so much closer. And I think we can all
What would
agree.
you say to people in the comment section, who are going to say, well, the Leafs have a harder path?
All right. Fucking change conferences. It is what it is, man. It is
Sometimes it do be like that.
sometimes it do be like that.
Oh.
You see, because I'm a dad. No, the Oilers with... I do think the goaltending narrative's a little lazy with them. If they only had league average goaltending, they'd be fine. There was one of the Marchessault goals, I forget which one. He had a tap in Barbashev was also there to tap it in if he missed the tap in. And where are any of the Oilers? Yeah. They're still absolutely shambolic in front of their own net.
It was the NHL 23 goal. It's the one where it bounces up off the goalie and just into the air and then comes back down. But yeah, so no one was there clearing the front of the net. The defense has been horrendous in Edmonton.
Yeah, no, Stuart Skinner, let them down a little bit. But no, their defense is it's trash. Ekholm, that trade rules. It rules. I believe in Bouchard for all his warts. But no, that core is not good enough.
I think the goaltending has to be a narrative when your goalie gets pulled 4 times.
Well, and he got pulled 4 times, and it's the other guy who might get traded or bought out.
Yeah, because but that's the beginning of the story. Was you sign Jack Campbell to be your starter, and he loses the job halfway through the first year of his large contract.
Oh, I think it was sooner than that. Skinner made the All-Star game.
Yeah,
he lost that job before Christmas. He lost that job before American Thanksgiving.
That's a huge narrative for this organization, this team, and I don't think the head coach or the general manager have been doing a great job.
No.
You have a cheat code in Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid being on the same team. Evan Bouchard is a star now offensively. He needs to clean up some things defensively, but offensively he is fantastic. And you have some good pieces around the 2 stars in Kane and Klim Kostin now. Yamamoto was decent.
You have Seaweed Man.
keeping Nick Bjugstad would be pretty cool.
Yeah, but Nuge not showing up in the playoffs is definitely something.
That's a really tough
one.
The
GM needs to figure this out because you've had so many kicks of the can here with Connor McDavid, and you can't advance past the second round more than once.
The thing I'd worry about with Edmonton is an extension of the conversation we had earlier with Huberdeau, where the Panthers traded Huberdeau after an unfathomably good season. And I'm sure from a PR perspective looked horrible, but you traded that guy knowing he's probably not going to be able to replicate that season. Man, replicating the season Hyman had is going to be really difficult, and replicating the season Nuge especially. Didn't he hit 100?
100-point Nuge.
Replicating that's going to be so hard.
Trade him now.
Well, and it's the Oilers, so who knows? Maybe he might replicate it. But he waited until 12 years after he was drafted to have the best year of his life.
It's rare that
and hit 100 points.
104.
Oh man,
more
37 goals.
More points than Mitch Marner?
He still had. Oh, really?
Mitch ended on 99, did he not?
Yes, he did.
And we've been talking about how Nuge didn't have a goal at even strength, and he only had 1 goal in the entire playoffs. He had 10 assists. And, maybe power play merchant, whatever. The time to they made a big commitment to him financially. But boy, you talk about selling high.
Yeah.
The season, he had 50 points the year before.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think the difficult decision there is sell high. I don't know what you got, though.
Him and Yamamoto, they're 2 guys who had terrific regular seasons, and you got some pieces there, but both of them in the playoffs were just not, from a goal-scoring perspective, not there.
Yeah, that's tough. You still... And I mean, you get Evander Kane in such a wacky, unique situation. You get a player of that caliber at that cap hit. You don't have to give the Sharks anything for him. I still think there's a winning formula there. There's a winning formula there in Edmonton, but I think if you're going to make a subtraction, if you're going to make a change, it's not reasonable to expect Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to have 104 points again. Unless. I mean, that power play is so stupid. You never know, maybe.
And the hard part is that I think the Oilers for me are sort of, they're not where the Leafs were last year, but it's sort of for Oilers fans, now they're in the stage where the Leafs have been for a couple years, I think, where nothing matters until the playoffs.
Yeah, and you got to get there. And
you got to get there. And
there was a time this season where it didn't look like they would.
They're going to get there.
No, I know. But there was a time this season where it's like, holy shit,
They were
they
bad.
have to score 5 goals or they're not even in it.
Totally.
Yeah. No, you nailed it, Adam. They're in the exact same point in their organizations where it's we need playoff success and we need it every single season. And if it's not there, that's a failure of the season.
I
And-
agree.
and
But they've
listen,
at least had some.
Success is not linear.
They've had
No.
one season, I'd say.
I
What,
give, you know
last
what?
year?
I give them
Yeah.
some thumbs up for some second rounds, especially that second round that they got to where with Cam Talbot and net. Like I give them that for
what
sure.
followed after that, I think, is the real disappointment for the organization.
Well, that's because Peter Chiarelli was running it though. I don't put
Was
that
he at
on
the
the
time?
team. Yeah, that was
Yeah, I
Pete
think you're
Chiarelli
right.
years, man.
Like, dude,
And everybody's like, where are Pete Chiarelli's critics now after they went to the second round? And then they fucking missed the playoffs next
were
year.
so
and
good.
McDavid is bonkers out of his mind.
And
this is
Draisaitl
before,
was
by the way.
so good.
Draisaitl was before that was before the word was out on Draisaitl. It was before people fucking knew.
that was his
Leon.
coming out party.
Absolutely.
And remember when he signed for 8.5 and we were like, what are the Oilers thinking?
You guys,
What were we
was,
thinking?
Whoops-a-daisy.
that was 6 years ago.
I know.
I know.
6 years ago, they beat the Sharks in round number 1.
Yeah.
And then since then, they've made one conference finals run last year. And then your expectations this year are a lot higher than that. And they failed to reach them.
I agree, but I think when we're comparing and contrasting with the Leafs, the fact that Leaf fans are upset about Craig Button's
Yes,
take,
yes,
which
yes,
is the
yes.
original point here,
Yes.
is like, guys, like it's just a very. I mean, you're their star scorer in the
I'm
playoffs.
reminded-
Completely different thing. That,
Yeah.
yeah. The original conversation is Leafs versus Oilers.
Yeah.
Completely different failures. But I think the Oilers still are a failure over the last decade with Connor McDavid.
I'm reminded of the John Mulaney joke. Guys, you're both terrible cereals.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, that could be it.